Welcome back to OneStopTutorials.com. We're back once again with Photoshop in front of you. My name's Alibaba, and in this tutorial we're going to look into how to add eyelash. Okay, this is what we're going to do. It's a little technique that we can, a pretty easy technique hopefully you don't get too confused with it. So let us get straight on with it. The first thing we want to do is we want to create a new layer. So simply click this new layer button. I'm going to double left click where it said layer 1 and I'm going to call this lashes. Okay, and there we go. So we got our background image and we got our new layer that's called lashes. Okay, eyelashes, it's just slang, I don't know, not sure, just my warped brain. So what we want to do here is the technique that we're going to do is we're going to be using a pen tool via the paths palette, which is here, okay, next to the layers, and we'll get into that in a sec. So what I want to do is, and then what we're going to do is actually add a stroke to that path. Okay, so I'm going to make a stroke of that path with my paintbrush. Okay, so I need to, the best thing to do when doing this is get your paintbrush all set up, get it to everything that you want, just so you're ready, and then you can quite easily stroke it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my brush tool is selected. Okay, grab my brush tool or hit B for the shortcut on your keyboard, and I want to come up to the brush size and I want to make it about 3 pixels is good for me. Okay, I want the blending mode to be normal, 100%, all looking good. And what I need this to be is I want this to be a hard edged brush. I don't want a soft edge brush for this one. Okay, I want a hard edge brush. So that is my brush tool selected. The next thing I want to select is my eyedropper. Okay, so I'm just going to simply left click on my eyedropper. I think in CS3 and CS2 the eyedropper is actually down here. And what I want to do is I want to select a color from these eyelashes. So I just want to, let me select that one. So it's like that dark brown color. Okay, so that's looking good. We're moving along very well. I'm just going to zoom out one. There we go. So next thing I want to do is I want to grab my pen tool. Okay, so grab your pen tool. If it's not there, just simply hold down and you'll see pen tool, the first one. The shortcut is P. Okay, and I want to make sure that my paths is selected here. This little icon here. Make sure this little icon is selected. So what I want to do is I want to come into my paths. Okay, now the paths, generally they're layers, channels and paths, they're together. If it's for some reason your path isn't there, simply go to window and choose paths and you'll see it here. Okay, simply left click on that, and what I want to do is create a new path. Okay, and you can create a new path just by selecting this little icon here, same as selecting a new layer. Okay, so now we've selected our new path and I have my pen tool selected. I can now come in here and make a selection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag just to get the first one going. I'm going to come down, and I like to make them a little bit longer than the original because they do actually end up sort of fading away. You know, they end up getting a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to make it down here. I'm just going to left click and then I'm going to drag. I'm going to try to make a sort of similar sort of angle to the one that we have at the moment. Now if you find you've made too long and you don't want to make a new path, obviously all you do is hold down Control or Command on your keyboard over the actual square here, the node, and what this will allow you to do is actually move the actual handles to where you want to put it. So you can move it there, again you can move this across. I'm going to move this down a bit, and you can grab the handles so it's not so rigid and bent. So that's looking pretty good to me. So now we actually have our selection and everything is okay for our selection, and like I say, you can change that selection at any time just by holding down Control or Command and moving it. Okay, say we're happy with this, this is okay, this is what we want. Well, what we want to do is we want to stroke the path. What that means is we want to make a stroke around, a 3 pixel stroke along this line. Okay, that's why we use the paths channel. It makes it a lot easier. At the moment this is a path. We can, you know, keep that long length just as it is, and we'll add our 3 pixel brush to it. Now I know what you're thinking. This is what I tried doing the first time, is grabbing my brush tool and painting it on. That's not really the way that you do it. First thing I need you to make sure that you have selected is you need to come to your layers palette and make sure you have your lashes layer selected. Okay, once that layer is selected, come back to your paths. Now next to your paths here you'll have a little arrow that points down with some 3 lines on it. What you want to do is left click on that and mine's actually out of view, but what you have here is you have somewhere down there that says stroke path. Okay, so you want to left click on stroke path, and that will bring up this stroke path option. Now what this will allow you to stroke that path with a number of different tools, but remember at the beginning we set up the brush tool 3 pixel with that brown color and hard edge brush, so that's what we want to stroke it with. The next thing is stimulate pressure. This is really important. This is a very good thing to have. If you click stimulate pressure, what it means, it will sort of soften out at the edges. Okay, it won't just be a zhit, it'll have a nice sort of ending to it. Like if you look at these eyelashes, they go thick and then they sort of get thin. That's the same technique that will happen with this stimulate brush. Once you have everything okay, simply hit OK, and you'll now notice it has stroked us a path. Okay, now what we want to do now is we want to get off this actual stroke. Okay, the way to get off a stroke is just simply in the open area here, just left click, and that will move your stroke away. And there is our little eyelash, and it's looking very good. I'm going to come into my layers palette just so we got everything back to normal. So what we can do with this is we can grab the move tool, okay, and with that our lashes layer selected, you can now actually move this lash. What you can also do is you can also put it into free transform mode, which will allow you to rotate it. You do that by holding down Control or Command on the Mac and hitting T, and that will put that into free transform. So you can actually move this around, free transform it. Once you're happy, double left click in the middle, and then again you can move this eyelash up. Okay, so I'm just going to move it up a bit, move it in, blend it in. Okay, and all you'd need to do that to carry on doing now is you could just come back in, do exactly the same. Your brush is all set up, come into your paths, create a new path. Okay, with the pen tool selected, make more sections. So let me zoom out a bit just so you can have a look. This is the before and this is the after. Okay, it doesn't look like, I mean, once you get that in there and making it Control T, just putting it in there and actually blending it in there, it'll be very hard to tell the difference between the original and the actual one that we've made. So that is a technique of how to add lashes to your eyes. I hope it wasn't too complicated. If you didn't understand it, go back, rewind, try again, but simple process. Making a new layer, getting our brush all set up, getting our brush 3 pixels, solid brush, choosing the color of the eyelash, grabbing our pen tool, coming into the paths channel, selecting a new path, okay, drawing on with our pen tool, and then making it with free transform, blend in so you can add more eyelashes. And you can do the same at the top, you can do the same with any. So that's just one technique of doing it. Take it easy, guys and girls. Hope you're enjoying these tutorials. Any problems, any questions, please let me know, and I shall catch you guys and girls at the next One Stop Tutorials. Laters, everyone.